There we go. The IT people have spoken. Our speakers today come from an organization called 100+ Women Who Care. We've got Susan, and I should have asked this earlier, Hinojosa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Joanne Munro are both here. Sabrina Ahmed, who I guess was the original founder, if I'm not mistaken, along with Susan, could not make it today. But 2 out of 3 isn't bad, so we're doing very well. I'm going to give just a very quick history of the organization, and then a quick comment on both Susan and Joanne. 3 times a year, the group hosts a 1-hour event to raise money for local charity. The local charities are nominated by the members and are vetted by the leadership team, focusing on local and innovative registered charities that are truly helping the greater Montreal community. 3 nominees are selected at random to be presented to the membership. And after learning about the 3 organizations, they vote to determine which charity will receive the funds. Every member commits to donating $100 at each event 3 times a year. So it's $300 a year. 100+ women is definitely true, because I understand now that you're well over 200 women. So this is wonderful. Susan's career has spanned the design and strategic leadership roles in creative entrepreneurial startups and successful retail chains. With experience in product development across diverse industries, her talent for bringing concepts to fruition is a great passion. Following a hiatus to raise her 2 sons, Susan has focused her career of art and technology for social impact, working on an innovative educational project for the prevention of gender-based violence. Susan's creativity, growth mindset, and commitment to social change are driving forces of 100+ Women Who Care. Excuse me. Joanne comes with over 30 years in the world of marketing and communications. In her role as the creative director for 100+, she's responsible for giving brands a voice, or was, sorry, in her previous career. Having worked with many large and small brands, she found the most rewarding work to be for charities like Centraid and UNICEF. Not only were those campaigns award-winning, they also got results. Joanne got the do-good bug, as she calls it, and a passion she brings to 100+ Women Who Care. Ladies, we're delighted to have you here. This is something that's a very new and interesting idea, and I'll hand the floor over to you now. You've got about 20 minutes, and then we'll blast it with some questions.
Okay, thank you.
That sounds great. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us. We are honored to be here to introduce our organization to you. We have the greatest admiration for the Rotary Club and the long history of great contributions you have made. First and foremost, I would say that 100 Women Who Care Montreal is a labor of love for its founding members as well as its entire membership. Essentially, we are a sisterhood of passionate women who recognize the need to answer the call to improve the lives of those struggling within the greater Montreal area. Through our simple, proven concept, we have set out to achieve a powerful impact on the registered charities serving local needs. Ideally, but not limited to, we seek to hone in on small, medium-sized, innovative, and out-of-the-box grassroots charitable organizations or programs trailblazing new effective ways to answer age-old issues or emerging issues confronting our Montreal communities. If you're not familiar with the model, giving circles are groups of people who pledge to give a set annual donation and then work together to choose the recipients of their pooled money. Grants of, say, $10,000 can do a lot for a small nonprofit budget. It's a very old-fashioned concept based on the way smaller communities used to help each other, but it's gaining ground as more people seek ways to connect with each other and make changes in the face of overwhelming odds. A little background about how we got started. Thank you for sharing that introduction. Inspired by this simple, proven, but giving circle concept taking off across North America and overseas, Sabrina Ahmed was determined to establish a chapter of 100 Women Who Care in her beloved city of Montreal. Sabrina first reached out to me at the end of 2020 shared her intention and the challenges she was facing. I loved the concept from the get-go, and I felt it would really resonate with others. With a background, as was explained, in entrepreneurial startups and product development, I felt I could have a positive contribution. With our limited availability, it was clear we would require a team with diverse strengths. So not short after we met, we probably had 2 or 3 meetings, the rest of the team was formed. So I would say that, really we started together. I immediately reached out to a friend of mine, Paula Samuels, for her strengths and experience as an ex-global news anchor and entrepreneur. I also reached out to Joanne, as was mentioned earlier, for her strengths in marketing communications, having been a creative director for top North American agencies and businesses. And Sabrina reached out to Anita for her strengths in marketing and event production. I should mention that Sabrina is a doctor. She has a general practice on the South Shore, and this was really her baby. It was a concept that she had learned about and was determined to make happen in the city of Montreal. And it's thanks to her that we are where we are today, having the impact that we've had. So before we knew it, a dream team was born. We meet regularly to establish we had been meeting regularly and continue to do so, but initially it was to establish our mission, to establish our vision, and working towards really differentiating ourselves and to stand out in the philanthropic landscape. We working together to develop our concept and our tools to create a fine running and well-oiled machine, and yet always understanding that we need to be ready to evolve and respond to the very quickly changing world we live in. So now I'm going to share a screen that shows what our concept is all about, and I'll let Joanne explain to you what makes up our concept. So just give me a second here while I share our screen.
Yeah, so basically it's simplicity is at the heart of what we're doing. And that was the reason we wanted to actually use the word simple with people, was so many women out there are so busy wanting to do something and yet just sort of never getting around to it. And so what we wanted to enable was we wanted to enable women to be able to get around to it with this simple proven concept. So it's 100+ women, which we are now 200 women, 1 hour equals up to $10,000 and high local impact. So the idea being, it's not a huge commitment. Like if these women are busy, it's not a big commitment. We're asking them for 1 hour, 3 times a year. And that reaps us big rewards. And now when we're over 100 women, we're donating more than $10,000 per event, which is, having a very visible local impact. So we're thrilled about it.
The second element, so it's simple, it's local.
Oh, I thought there was another slide about that.
No.
Oh, okay. And then, so our mantra is it's simple, it's local, it's the power of women. And so local being obviously the essence of why we're the Montreal chapter, right? There's chapters in different provinces and different cities. So we are focused on giving back to the local Montreal, to our local institutions and charities. And the power of women is we all know the power of women. We're seeing it in the world more and more now. As women come together, they get stuff done. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, when we started out, we were, had our fingers crossed. Are we going to get 100 women? Are we going to get 100 women? And lo and behold, before our first event, we got up to 90 some odd women. We were thrilled. And now with the momentum we've created, this power of women has come together, and the power of women is now the power of 200 women. So, which will just have financial impacts. So we're thrilled with that.
And now I'll tell you a little bit of why we think that the concept really resonated with others. Essentially, and Joanne described it yesterday as we were having a little conversation about it, it was really the perfect recipe. As she just mentioned a few minutes ago, we are all really busy these days, but we all have this incredible intention to do better. And it's not always easy, and we don't always have a roadmap on how to get there. What is the perfect recipe about our concept is through its simplicity and through its low demand for people who have very busy schedules, which is pretty much everyone these days. It was a perfect match for many. The fact that it was local, as Joanne mentioned, it was a real draw because it made it more feasible that you can make an impact. Sometimes we look at the troubles of the world, and sometimes it seems overwhelming and feels like as an individual, we can do very little. But what the concept does is that it speaks to people as, let's start locally. Let's focus on our immediate neighbors, our citizens, our fellow Montrealers, and let's see that impact. Let's feel that impact together. So that's an element that really speaks to people. And so I feel that there is this sort of interest and sense of urgency that people have about making their communities and neighborhoods better, but they just don't know how to do it. And so the recipe really responds to that. I also feel that it harnesses the generous instinct of people who may not have realized that they can afford to donate and make an impact. So because we come together as a group, our impact, although it may feel small, becomes very great because collectively it is a great impact, especially because we focus on small to medium-sized nonprofits. Also, it resonated with others, I think, because it was a sisterhood, which was a little bit different. And there's something very powerful that happens when women come together for a common purpose. Inequity still exists, and I think it speaks to that, and it gives us an opportunity to voice a gender lens. Like, for instance, everything we do, from nominating charities to voting on the charity, brings forward a voice of women. We do know that generally, when it comes to mainstream funding, paradoxically, it has underserved women. It's not our intention when we select charities to seek charities that only benefit women. That's not at all what we aim to do. What we aim to fund are charities that stand out to us as women and that we see are essential and effective. Another reason why we feel this concept has really resonated with people is by focusing locally and coming together as a community. It brings back that whole concept of needing community, which seems to sort of have disappeared a little bit over time, people being so busy and not coming together as often. There's a real desire to have that connection again. And so I think our organization speaks to that. So our events that occur 3 times a year provides us an opportunity to come together and celebrate that which we are achieving.
Will you show the video then?
Yeah, we'll do that. I'm going to share with you a video that we prepared early on when we started the organization in the beginning of 2021, which we asked each of our members to, just with their phone, do a quick little 3-minute video as to why they joined. And we compiled that together. My 14-year-old son at the time stitched it all together and edited it for us. And that became our video to share with others about what is 100 Women Who Care. So I'll present that to you now. Oops.
You'll have to share the sound also down at the bottom of the share screen.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm just going to bring it to the center. Is she centered for you now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to make it bigger too.
Hi, I'm Amanda. My name is Mon nom est Anne.
My name is Virginia.
I'm Jane.
My name's Karina.
My name is Kate.
I'm Kathy Berry.
Mon nom est Stéphanie.
Hi, my name is Lisa Singer. I'm Michaela.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
My name is Bridget.
My name is Natasha Lang.
My name's Jamie, and I joined 100 Women Who Care Montreal because
Wanted to be part of an organization where my donation was going to make a greater impact.
I love the fact that the concept is so simple. I love the idea of women helping women.
Because women have been disproportionately impacted during the pandemic.
And I joined because now more than ever, people are in need of our help.
I also wanted to teach my children the importance of giving and getting involved with the community.
It goes directly to local Montreal charities, which I love.
And I love smart, good ideas. And this is one of them.
You know, you read stories, you hear things all the time about people who are suffering in their day-to-day lives, homelessness and abuse, terrible situations, and you think, what can I do? Well, this is something that I can do.
and also connect with some pretty fabulous women at the same time.
It feels so good to be able to give back. I'm excited about it being a sisterhood.
I think it's very cool that 100 or more women are getting together to make a difference in the lives of other women in the Montreal community.
Et je pense que quand des femmes se mettent ensemble pour faire un bout de chemin, il n'y a rien qui peut faire accomplir.
I think it's incredible. I think it's a super initiative, and I'm really proud to be part of it.
And I'm very happy to join this wonderful group.
I'm looking forward to doing amazing things together.
I'm very excited to see what the future holds.
I am so proud with this organization giving time to help others.
C'est chez nous, c'est simple, c'est la force des femmes. Ça dit tout.
Very nice.
Thank you for that. So as you saw in the video, there's various reasons why people have joined, and our membership is made up of a wide range of ages. We have members from the ages of 20 all the way up to 80 something. And I think that's what makes our membership also very powerful, is that we've got the voice of many different generations, and coming together towards a common desire to help others is really fuels us. And so I would also like to share with you not just why it resonated with us, and it all sounds like it all came together very easily, but it wasn't that easy. There was also lots of challenges that we faced, and so Joanne and I can tell you about how because we were born during a pandemic, we had to pivot constantly and sort of adapt and determine how are we going to roll this out, because truly the model of 100 Women Who Care is part of the power is coming together in person those during each of these events, and that really creates a lot of connection. And there's always the power when people come together to celebrate something. So how to do that when we couldn't come together, when we were prevented from doing so because of the pandemic and restrictions. So we went through different, so far we've had 5 events, and in each event it unfolded a different way, and I'll let Joanne elaborate.
We unfortunately, the first one had to be remote, which we were all excited about getting together and, you know, finally getting the community and the giving circle together. There's a sense of being together that's part of the energy of the whole experience, and not having that energy, we were very concerned over Zoom, you know, how's this going to work? But our first event was a success. We had pretty good turnout, and it was 100% on Zoom. Then the restrictions lifted a little bit for our second event, I guess 4 months later.
Yeah, 5 months.
4 months later, we were allowed to have a hybrid event. So we were at the Siegel Center, and we had a live event there with, you know, all the COVID protocols and all the, you know, it all had to be set up in advance. It was a little bit complicated, but it worked. And did we do that one online as well?
Yeah, so that was hybrid.
So that one was hybrid. So that one we filmed as well. And then we had the live component to it. And then, of course, COVID came back. We were all back in lockdown again. And so our third event was hybrid. And then we've been fortunate enough to have our last 2 live in person. And we've found a wonderful venue sponsor in the Atwater Club. And they are, you know, providing us with the space, providing us with their facilities. it's working out super well, and we're getting good turnouts with our event meetings, and then what we encourage our membership to to stay around and meet one another and create that sort of sense of community. So it's a giving circle, but it's also a community, and that was sort of getting it back into live in person was huge for us, because that was sort of what we were waiting for, was to get that dynamic and that female energy in a room together, which you just can't get over Zoom. So we're very happy to be back in the swing of things.
And there's a huge benefit to having a whole bunch of women coming together too, because there's so much we can learn from one another. And we're just looking at the diverse membership and some incredible people coming forward who are finding other ways to support our organization and contribute from their own personal experiences and career fields of interest to make this organization even more engaging and more powerful. And so that's coming together of minds is absolutely fantastic.
So the way it leads up, the way we lead up to an event, we have 3 events in the year. So there's, it's divided every 4 months. And we've kind of in a groove now. We have kind of a calendar, and so the first thing that happens is, once we're in our new cycle, the first thing that happens is the founding members, we decide on a theme for the charity. Like, okay, what's our theme going to be? We've done mental health, we've done
so we started
kids
with
and teens,
empowering women,
mental
health, supporting kids and teens, helping refugees, and fighting poverty.
So those are themes. And then this last theme we actually made it open, since our event is going to be close to Valentine's Day. We said a charity from the heart. So something that was just near and dear to people, as opposed to dictating the actual theme. So we've got a much broader expanse this time. So we share that theme with our membership, and then we invite them to nominate a charity. So all of the nominations come in through our membership, and then once we get all the nominations in the allotted amount of time, what we literally do is we put them in a hat, and we literally pick them out of a hat, and we pick 3 out of a hat.
And the reason why we do that is because every member's nomination matters equally. So we don't want to put one over the other. We want to really give them an equivalent amount of opportunity to be selected as a finalist.
We do have a few criteria around the charities. They obviously have to be a registered charity, so they have to be legitimate. They have to serve the Montreal Greater Area. They have to have been established for at least 2 years, not based in any specific religious denomination. And we're looking for small to mid-sized organizations who have annual operating budgets of under $2 million, or if they're within a bigger umbrella, like say the MUHC, we look to target a small unique program, so that with a larger charitable organization, so that we can go in for a specific need, and we're not just a drop in the bucket of a big organization. So we're really trying to be down in the roots, grassroots.
Yeah, and another reason for that is because sometimes it does take a much larger organization to respond to a dire social need. And because research and funding a lot of funding is required for research. So for that reason, we didn't want to move away from that opportunity to fund something of that nature.
And so once we've had the draw, we've got our 3 charities. Then Susan does an amazing job of vetting them, and I'll let her talk a little bit if she wants to talk about how she vets them.
Okay, so the vetting process, we established a certain amount of like a checklist, for instance, that we go through to ensure that they have a good standing, that they are really frontline serving the community, that there is a large percentage of their funds that are going towards programming. We do have some members that I rely on for their opinion as well, because they work in the field of philanthropy, and therefore their opinion matters very much to me. So to ensure that our membership money is not just supporting anything, but rather an organization or a nonprofit that is effective and is really providing solutions and responding to the needs of their beneficiaries.
So once they've been vetted, we announce them to our membership and we invite them to the event. So we invite one representative from each of the 3 charities to come and do a 5-minute presentation at our event. And the way we structure that presentation is with Paula, who Susie mentioned earlier was our member, who our founding member, who's an ex-journalist. We found the format that really works the best and puts these speakers the most at ease is to do a question and answer. So a 5-minute question and answer period with them. It just felt like it flowed better and it was a better dynamic as opposed to just having somebody stand up there and drone on for 5 minutes about what they do, sort of like we're doing right now.
And it also provided a level equal ground for them to cover the same topics.
They're not all, they're not all the same caliber of speakers. So it really has worked out well to do this sort of Q&A with them for 5 minutes. So each charity gets a 5-minute window with a little question and answer after. And then right then and there on our phones, we have through an app that we have with a QR code, you vote, we do the vote. So in the room, in the moment with the 3 charities there, we vote as to who's going to get our donation. And then we announce it. And then also right then and there, we are all organized with a pre-set up email that gets sent to you with the charity that's going to get the donation. And so you make your charity directly through that email. It's all organized with CanadaHelps.org. And so it's seamless. We never handle any money. Everything goes directly to the charities. The tax receipts come directly from the charities. We're just the giving circle. We just facilitate it, but everything gets done directly through the charities and CanadaHelps.org. And so that's the way. And then after the event, we invite, after we've made our donation and we invite people to stay and have a cocktail and even have dinner if they want. The Atwater Club is set up for all of that. So it's a nice way to then sort of deconstruct everything that went on that evening, talk about the charities. And just so you know, we do have, sometimes what happens is people are so taken by all 3 charities is they donate to multiple charities. They're only obliged. I mean, in our agreement with them and as being members, they're only obliged to donate to the charity that gets voted. But some of them feel such a strong affinity to the other ones as well that we do have on occasion members who will donate to multiple charities just because they really felt like everybody deserved it, which we all feel like, and that sort of segues into our next thing, which is sponsors.
Yeah, so one thing we noticed from the get-go is when we were building this whole concept, we were like, we love the idea of a vote, but then we weren't always comfortable with the idea that when you vote, then there's 2 that don't get awarded. And we do know that the charities, the charitable organizations that do make it to finalist status are powerful and doing good work. We appreciate so much that they take the time to come do their presentation, and we wanted to award them as well. But how to do so when we are pooling our money together to have a large sum to be able to have a making impact on the charity. So we were thinking, okay, what can we do to raise funds for these finalists as well? We ended up coming up with corporate sponsorship. So we didn't want to ask our members to put forward more money, but we were looking to see there must be others that are interested in supporting what we do as well. And so this gives an opportunity for corporations to align themselves with us to support female philanthropy as well as local philanthropy. So we proposed, well, we had actually some women entrepreneurs within our membership who offered to give door prizes to our event to show gratitude to the other women in the membership for the commitment they've made. And from that was born our idea of maybe seeking corporate sponsorship as well. And then we have 3 different levels of providing corporate sponsorship. It's an annual, it can be a one-time donation of a sum of your choice, or we've also prepared 3 different levels, and they're 1-year engagements to provide a donation 3 times a year, so one at each event. And so there's different levels of that. So I believe one is at $250, another per event, 500 per event, or 1,000 per event, or of course, any sum that you choose. So that we've just started, and it's taking off. So we're really happy to see a very positive response there.
And then the idea being is that the money we raise through the corporate sponsors will divide into two and give to the two runner-ups of the ones that didn't ultimately get the vote, so that they get a little something for their time and a little something knowing that we care as well about them.
Yeah. And also just something that we put together as well is that every charity that becomes a finalist towards our event. So we've had 5 events so far, and so 3 finalists per event. So 15 charities right now reside on our website in what we call our charity hub. And the reason why we started a charity hub is because we wanted a place on our website where people can easily access charities when it comes time to, let's say, the holiday season, when you're gifting to others, to instead of providing objects that are highly disposable or materialistic things, that instead giving a gift of a donation. So the Charity Hub becomes a resource page on our website where those charities that we've already vetted and that have made finalist status reside. And so it's easy for you to access them, learn about them, and donate and gift through, do a gift donation. So that's another element that's really important about what we do, is that not only are we donating, but we're also creating awareness of local social issues that are occurring in our community, as well as solutions. So bringing these nonprofits to light. And I think what really works and is win-win for these charitable organizations that get invited to our events is that we're creating a lot of awareness about what they do for them. So we work towards building that through our social media. We share a lot of information about leading up to each event about each of these nonprofits, their strengths, their proven formula, their impact, and through social media. And we also do that on our website and through our communication to our members. And then, of course, their platform when they're at our event and speaking directly to our membership. I will share a slide with you. Well, we could tell you about our local impact to date.
Well, we've got 200, I think we have 201 actually, 201 members. So we're looking to grow, because obviously the more engagement we get, the more impact with our donations. And so far, in our 5 events, we've collected over $80,000, which we've donated locally. So we're really thrilled with that. We're really pleased.
We're going to share with you now just a little diagram that we have with regards to the different social causes that we have supported so far. So with the $80,000 that we've accumulated in donations, they've gone to these different social causes.
So mental health, empowering women, fighting poverty, helping refugees, and supporting kids and teens in need.
And also, specifically in those categories where our donations have gone towards are empowering women with or without children fleeing intimate partner violence, reducing social isolation and loneliness across generations, ensuring social equity for kids and teens from underprivileged neighborhoods, helping refugees obtain basic needs, and supporting vulnerable young families break out of the poverty cycle. We were able to do this by supporting the important work of organizations such as these. So, of course, the mental health social cause. It was the Yellow Door, who help seniors and also young people come together in order to break isolation and loneliness. They have incredible programs. For empowering women, the charity that was elected was Pavillon Marguerite de Champlain, who works towards ending domestic violence by supporting women fleeing their partners with their children. And they have an incredible program there also for awareness building about gender-based violence. There was 03, which is called On Our Own, which is transitional housing as well as support programs for young families who are in vulnerable situations of poverty. Pour Trois Points, an incredible organization that empowers youth to create equity for children who come from underprivileged backgrounds. They have a tremendous formula where they train coaches and they become certified coaches to not only coach youth in sports, but also be life coaches for youth as well. So having a very important role in the lives of children, they have an incredible impact for them. So they train them and then they reach out to schools and they have different programs where these coaches work with youth. There is also a collective, Welcome Collective, which was our second to last one, which was helping refugees. And they have a tremendous program that really brings community together to make a difference in the lives of refugees, supplying them with all their basic needs, as well as support programs. So these were all tremendous programs that we were very, very happy to support.
I think this might be a good time to go to our question and answer period. And I'll start off with one or two. What type of event do you do when you say you have an event? Is it just everybody gets together and you have the presentations and you do the vote, or is there something else going on at the event?
So the event is 1 hour and we really try to limit it to 1 hour. And that is part of our concept of keeping it simple and not high demand. So it's a 1 hour event. And what happens is what Joanne had explained earlier, it's really it's set up in a certain way. Right now, up until present, we've had it sort of auditorium style and with a presentation happening in the front. So one of our founding members, Paola Samuels, who has so much experience in speaking in public, she stands and she's the MC of the event. We do the presentations of each finalist, 5 minutes each, plus a video for each, the vote, and then the donation. And that wraps it all
And
up.
we're just in a room at the Atwater Club. You know, we've got a mic up front, we've got a video screen up front, and we've got round tables with, you know, people sitting at tables, and it's very casual.
Yeah.
It's like being on the Shark Tank.
Sort of.
A little bit. There's an element that we're changing right now is that because we had it auditorium style, the reason why we had it that way is that being remote and then becoming hybrid and having been at the Siegel Center, that's the way that it naturally rolled out in an auditorium sort of style setting and keeping people distanced as well. But now understanding that we want it to feel more connected. We have big round tables now where people are going to be sitting around each table and meeting each other a little bit better, like having an opportunity to really come together during the event, as well as the opportunity to do it afterwards, but that is optional.
Okay. This next one, I'm going to answer the question before I ask the question. Excuse me, because I noticed on the website, excuse me, very quickly, 100 Women Who Care was started in 2006 out of Jackson, Michigan. There are over 60,000 women in 100 Women Who Care worldwide. And there are also chapters of 100 Men Who Care. Yep. And 100 Teens Who Care. Yep. So that answers the question. I'll bet you that was going through a few people's minds. And with that in mind, I would say, what is the impact or what is the importance of this group being 100 women in your mind?
So what I mentioned earlier is that gender lens. I think it's really important. I think women, again, it's a sense of needing to achieve some equity in voicing and driving change in our community as a group of women and supporting one another and empowering one another. There's just so much. It is so fueling to come together as women, and also by having that voice of who to nominate, what charities to nominate, why do they resonate with us as women, and who are we electing and why. I feel that it comes through in our actions, that what is important to us today.
Okay. Deborah Hammond,
I
you've
have-
got a question?
I have
Yes.
a question.
Hang on just a second, David. I'm going to let Deborah go first.
Well, congratulations to you both. Your enthusiasm and your organizational skills and your passion comes through. I have, first of all, when did you start in Montreal? You mentioned you started at the beginning of COVID. Is that right?
Yeah. We started 2021. Our first event was in May 2021.
And so you raised $80,000 during COVID. So, I mean, kudos to you. That is absolutely phenomenal. My question is, you mentioned you have 201 members right now. Do you have a maximum where you feel that it will become untenable and you'll have to start another circle? Or is the sky the limit as far as dealing with the numbers?
We were concerned about that when the numbers started growing, but we still, even though we are 200, we're not getting 200 coming to the event.
Okay.
So we have a manageable, we have sort of there's kind of a core of loyals who seem to be the ones who come out, and then so we've got some new members coming out. So it's so far it's been manageable even at that size.
In the history of the other clubs, do they have a maximum number and then they break off and start other clubs, or no?
No, there's, well, I will explain it this way. There are some 100 Women Who Care that are just 100 members. Sometimes they're less than 100. And sometimes there are some that are 300. I think there is an alliance page that we go on and we sort of ask each other questions and brainstorm together. And there are some that are greater. Like, I think the largest I've heard was 400 or 500.
And how do you go out and get your new members? How do you
We encourage for our events, we encourage our membership to bring a friend. And that's one way we're hoping to recruit. We're very active on social media. So that's another way, and word of mouth. Word of mouth is probably our biggest, and like moments like this, opportunities like this are great word of mouth, and yeah, so that's, it's pretty grassroots.
But initially, that was another power of being 5 to start, because we each reached out to our own network and community, and there was some overlap because we're friends, but it still brought on a good number from the get-go, and that had a great momentum to start. Yeah.
And how do I become a member?
We have a membership form on our website, very simple. So you go on our website, you go to the tab that is become a member, and you fill out the form, and Joanna will actually give you a call to sort of verse you about and answer any questions you may have.
Which you may not after this, but.
And then of course you start receiving our emails.
I really love the idea of small and medium charities. I mean, they really need help. And so kudos to you. I just think it's absolutely wonderful. And
Thank you. Well, we look forward to having you among us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the points you brought up as well. There were good questions also. There's something that you mentioned about it being small and medium-sized nonprofits. And one thing we know is that seeking funding for these smaller organizations is very difficult. And it is a time-consuming process where grant writing is not always easy, and it's also highly competitive. So when we bring our pooled funds together and donate to one of these organizations, we know it's a change maker. They can actually go forward and implement an activity or a program that they've been longing to do. So that's why it really works. It's really a perfect formula.
They need all the help they can get, and they don't get any money from the governments or any other organizations. So they really count on this money. I mean, $1,000 is a huge amount to some of these organizations and can make a huge difference. So kudos to you. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, we can't hear
Sorry,
you.
David Franklin, you've got a question?
Yes. If I understand, you do not receive the monies, but you ask the individual members to send them directly. How do you monitor how much is actually sent?
Go ahead.
You want?
Well, through CanadaHelps.org, we're able to track it. When you make your donation, we ask our membership to click off the box that says to not make them anonymous. And then we have a way of, because we set up this group on CanadaHelps.org, we have a way of tracking who of our membership has donated.
So it does require a lot of follow-up on our behalf. We do, have to send out reminders. It's not always that easy, but we get a large amount of our members that do it immediately at the day of the event. And then those that trickle in the next 3 weeks, approximately to a month.
Rod DeCourcy, Ireland, do you have something to say, sir?
If somebody is not attending a meeting, are they still expected to send their $100 in to cover that meeting?
Absolutely. That's part of their commitment of joining and of being a member.
Yeah.
They don't get to vote because they're not there.
Well, we do have an opportunity to vote if you're not there.
Yeah, if you know in advance that you're not going to be there,
we send an advance voting form because their vote matters. So we do, if you cannot make it to an event and you let us know in advance, we will send you a pre-event voting form.
But absolutely, those members who do not come to the event are expected to donate.
So when you become a member, you're pledging, you're making a commitment to donate 3 times a year, $100 3 times a year.
Secondly, do you find competition from other groups such as yours or direct charities that are also appealing directly to women?
No, actually. Well, first of all, I think we're all in it together, right? We're all in it together to make a big difference. So competition, I wouldn't really see it that way. I would see it as definitely an opportunity to make change in our community. But we don't. I have not seen a lot of groups that are all women, and I think that's what differentiates ourselves.
And in fact, we've had charities reach directly out to us after they've heard about us, saying, "How can we get on your nomination lists?" And we've told them to become members.
Yeah. I get on your list.
Yeah, it's been such a great experience. I can't tell you, working with these incredible women and building this organization and membership of women has been such a passion and labor of love for us all. And and some people are even calling it a movement, and I love that because a movement to do good, what could be better than that?
Well, I'll tell you, Susan and Joanne, apart from an excellent presentation to us today, I encourage everybody to take a look at their website because it is, I've been through it and it is very well organized, very simple to find out what's going on. It's succinct. And I don't know who did it, but somebody's done a very good job there for you.
Well, we'll share that with Sabrina. It was her first website and she did a bang up job.
Yeah. And we also have social media accounts that you could follow us because any type of following or encouragement or support is greatly appreciated. So we're on Facebook and we're also on Instagram.
Okay. Deborah, we're running late, so a real fast question.
One quick, it's not a question, it's a comment to you, Jim. You asked how could you join? I just have a comment for all you men out there. You may not be able to join, but your spouses, your girlfriends, perhaps you could pass the word along to them.
Excellent.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that.
Well, again, thank you very much. Heather, I think we can end ourselves off by here. And as I said, ladies, we're going to go into the rest of our meeting for the next 5 or 10 minutes. You're welcome to stay, but I encourage you to go and have lunch.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to meet you all.
It was a true pleasure. Thank you so much.
Take good care of yourselves.
Thank you. You too.